So, we can start with a little bit of loosening up. Just let the body drain down. And just play a little bit already by just kind of swing the body a little bit to the front and the back. So just in a way kind of pulsing through the move. And kind of roll a little bit up and down. Also kind of leave the feet from the ground. Okay, and also in this case, because it's a little bit more forward backwards, just you can also play with the feet, being one in front of the other. So just play a little bit, let the body kind of sink down. And from this position, you can slightly more explore this kind of front back direction. So use a kind of up down feeling and a front back. Just slightly explore these directions. And you can do this from a kind of classic hand me position. Or you can explore this picture that Adrian sent with the different hand me. You can do this kind of hito emi, front foot's a little bit out. You can do this kind of from a kind of squatting position. This way. Just explore a little bit the feet. And go one in front of the other. Just explore the kind of balance of the body for a little bit. Okay. And also just explore what effect the head has on the movements. So if I kind of look at the feet and look down, I feel automatically the body's slightly more pulled forwards, down. If I have the sense of the head looking up to the sky, the ceiling, there's a bit more feeling of lightness in the movement, maybe. Generally, if I keep the head just kind of focused out down, it tends to have a bit more balance. Good. Okay, just naturally start to now move into a kind of side to side. And also just explore the feet again. So you can keep the feet kind of standard positions, kind of shoulder width, just wider than shoulder width apart. But you can also explore a little bit more wider. And also interesting to explore a little bit more where the feet are basically on the line and you're basically coiling through this way. Just play with it. It just depends really where you feel the body is, or how the body feels. And it just depends on the kind of areas you want to work. So just explore a little bit. Yeah. That's it. And just start to now come into a kind of rotational movement with the sideways. Basically means the body's going to start to kind of swing down. What I do first is explore the kind of front direction, because it's a bit easier on the spine and on the body. So kind of explore the front, and I feel the body's a bit looser. Start to explore more this kind of backwards direction. A little bit tougher on the spine. It's a little bit harder to kind of remain relaxed as you kind of go over into the backwards direction. Okay, just fully kind of drop the hips down. Again, just play with the feet. You can be wide, you can have one foot in front of the other. Just play at the moment with a slight rotational movement. So basically means the hands are just going to kind of flop down and relax the hips. Maybe feel the weight settling into the feet now. The upper body relaxed. Also, one interesting thing you can do here, I tend to kind of talk about the fingers brushing the floor. You can also put the hands down on the floor, and you've basically got a full support, full contact in the ground, and just explore, again, this kind of rotational move. Or if you like, this is a nice move to explore, is this kind of fish movement through the spine. So if you imagine a kind of swimming fish, you've got this sense of a movement. Wait, hello, I think it comes down. You've got a sense of a movement coming through the spine, and just use those kind of 4 contact points. The hands, the feet. And just explore, also kind of pulling up maybe one of the contact points, maybe the foot, the hand, and just really explore the kind of sense of looseness. So, just let the body release towards the ground. Just kind of see. Wait. That's it. That's it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Great. Okay, we're going to start to come up. So just start to now swing the hands front and back. We're just going to work up the way up. So just use the breath as you come up. Breathe in and out. Just allow the body to kind of start to come up. A little bit more each time. A little bit more. A little bit more. That's it. Just as you feel like it. Good. That's it. And really trying to keep in this way, this sense of looseness that you've got where the ground is basically falling, or the gravity is basically pulling the body down. And then just as you come up. Yawning is also great as you do this. You've seen the Seitai classes, they all go, oh! So they all kind of yawn through the movements, but they're actually good. It's actually good to do. People get told off in the dojo for yawning, but it's actually a good thing. So just come up. Good. And then also now explore a sense of opening up the back and then releasing it all the way down. So do this nice and slow, but it's a little bit like when we do the stretching movement, the breathing exercise. Just have a sense of reaching up. You're going to slightly bend the back, stretch through the back of the knees, and then just release it all down. Do this super slow, especially the downwards move. Don't want all the blood to kind of go glunk all the way to the brain, but just let when you can swing down. Open and stretching. Hello, hello, hello. Good. Lengthening, set up, and then drop through. That's it. Good, 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 good. Keep going. Good. Good. And then just go down to a dynamic, so you let the arms drop just between the sides now. And now the body's just going to drop a little bit through the knees, but not all the way through the ground now. That's it. Exactly. So wing. That's it. So really kind of dynamic. Let the body just drop. That's it. That's it. Perfect. That's it. Good. I'm just going to watch a little bit. Let's see. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Ah, good. Yeah, and in this case, just watch the head as you do. I know it's really tense because I've also got screens and a camera, and I'm not sure where I'm actually looking over 3 things. So it's kind of, I go into these kind of movements and I start to kind of twist against the head or something. But ideally, what you want, this is why it's nice to sometimes kind of close the eyes. Ideally, you want the head to just really follow the spine, and the eyes just follow. Obviously, they follow the head, but just in this case, really feel that the head and also the vision with it is just going to kind of follow the whole body, which in this case means I want it to kind of do it towards the camera so I don't have to look at anything. You're basically going to center everything through the whole body. So the vision, the head, especially the kind of back of the neck. Just be kind of aware of how the vision of pulse is going to affect the body. So it starts to look, now it starts to kind of come over. Oh, that side. I start to look at the ground, everything starts to kind of collapse. So just explore a little bit. first. And for me, sometimes it's just nice to close the eyes a little bit. That's it. Great. Super. That's it. Nice. Good, good, good. So, very nice. Good. Okay, now just coming to a nice loose rotation. Arms really loose. Just twisting the hips. That's it. Good. Okay, good. Yeah, so I was actually watching this video. Adrian sent me a link to a teacher from Australia, right, from the Ki Aikido school, and he does these exercises actually, and he starts to talk about them. So just imagine, in this case, one of the things we do is he talks about this is kind of we start to rock through the movement. So the body's kind of rocking through it, and basically out of balance as I do it. Now, for these kind of Seitai exercises, exploring my imbalance is kind of the point of it as well. One of the points of it. So, but in the terms of this work, in terms of functional, I want to be much more balanced. So, in this case, just go to the feet and really feel that. This is actually not a way of explaining it. What I don't want to do is twist the upper body and the feet do nothing. And I also don't just want to drop down through it. So, in order to kind of make a kind of split in the kind of separation in the body, in the hips, imagine you're pulling on the back heel of this leg and you're pushing forward onto the toes in this leg. And that will basically create a kind of split in the body. So just kind of play with this a little bit where it's you basically focus the feet, the back and the front, back and the front. And this will generate a rotation in the body or a kind of spin in the body without the body coming out forward. So just have the sense now, just go to the feet and feel that this kind of pressure will just rotate the body this way. And once you get that kind of feeling, just go back to the arms, just let them stay loose. And it's a nice kind of explanation for it. But in essence, what you're doing is just letting the feet connect to the ground, and I'm actually initiating through the center. So once you've got that feeling, just go towards the hips. So my interest in this exercise is really the hip work. So the connection with the feet and what happens in the feet is interesting. But my real focus in this case is trying to get the hips to move. That's it. Yeah. Good. And then just play a little bit more with opening this exercise out. But just let the arms swing a little bit more. And a little bit down maybe. And this is nice because it really increases the challenge on the body to drain through the ground. So it's very easy, obviously, for the body to start to come up with the movement. Just feel that you can drain the body down. So everything's going to kind of drain down, especially in this up position. So that's it. That's it. Good. Good. Just watch a little bit. Oh, nice. Good. Very nice. Nice. Good. And then just go to this one, which is a little bit more structured. So again, shoulder width apart, the arms come out to the side, open out, and then just release it. One to the shoulder, one to the back hip, or the lower back. Just open out. If I'm kind of doing this movement properly, I would kind of study it a little bit more slower. Because it's the morning, I tend to do this quite fast, so in a way it's a little bit looser in the morning. I'm less really concerned with the stretcher. It's more of a bit of a shoulder loosening, hip loosening, shoulder loosening exercise. Nice. And again, just be conscious of the head, what happens with the head. If I tend to fix a point in this exercise, with the head, with the vision, the body will start to kind of twist away from the spine. So in this case, just allow the whole spine to go with the movement. So I tend to pick 2 points on the wall or something, or trees or something, and just go towards them each time. Boom, boom, boom. That's good. Super. And then we just go to the shoulders. So open in front and back. Again, just being conscious of the head. You start to increase the movement a little bit more. Just really allow the head to follow the spine. And in this case, if you just feel, what we tend to do is hold the arms. And so what happens is like either something like this where the arms are kind of held in tension. So just for a few times, find that you can bring the arms up and then feel the weight of the ground act on the arms, which will basically mean not that the arm goes, not that the hand gets pulled down, but the heaviest part gets pulled down. So it's actually the shoulder, the elbow. So this part of the arm will get pulled down, and then hopefully you can kind of feel that. So it's kind of difficult, but you will feel, if it's like this, this happens to the body. This is quite a hard thing to feel because it's very easy to kind of hold the arms up, which I'm doing it now. So I'm holding the arms, trying to release them, and then feel basically the elbows get dragged down. And then what that translates to in movement is it looks like a slightly more flexible movement, a bit like kind of wings flapping. You've got the elbows, they're also articulating through the movement. That's it, nice. And then just start to again increase the movement of the hips, side to side, and then the spine's actually going to rotate one way then the other. And you'll find that the hands just start to come up towards the head. So that's good. And then once you've got that in motion, just start to swing through it. Again, keep the feeling of the arms being like thick, heavy ropes. Just feel the kind of ground pulling the arms down. So, and then if you can, just change direction the other way. And again, just being conscious of the head. Again, if I fix the head forward in this exercise, I basically create a tension in the spine. So just allow the head to follow the spine from side to side. Big opening of the body. That's good. Just a few more. That's nice. Nice, Carol, good. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Good. And Caroline doing something really nice. So in this case, also Caroline's doing something really nice. If I watch, there's a feeling really of these lines, these side lines of the body really opening out. So try and also explore these lines where you're basically you've basically got to kind of coil through the leg. So think of the outside of the line that runs through the leg, all the way through, up the hip, through the rib cage, all the way up the arm and out. And just think of this line kind of opening, really opening out. Just explore the last few, really emphasizing this line of the body. This is the kind of lateral line of the body. That's nice. Good. That's it. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, good. Okay, good. And then we'll do just a few stretches for the shoulder. Just stretching across the front, opening the shoulder out. And release into the other side. Okay, taking the wrist all the way over the top. Just let me drag it over the head. Again, you can do this in one long movement, or you can kind of pulse a little bit through it. It depends on the flexibility in the shoulder. Change sides. See, in this case, if you can also create a sense where I'm basically holding the arm. This is a bit kind of tricky to show, but see if you're basically holding the arm up and allow this line of the body to drop. So allow, it's a bit like I'm dropping this side of the body, and this hand's holding me up, which is kind of strange feeling because I'm holding myself up and letting the other side drop. Just kind of explore this and then go to the other side again. And just slightly, you can also extend the movement out, so as if this hand's pulling over to the side. And this side, what I want it to do is not be dragged so much over, but drop towards the ground. And basically creating a lengthening through the whole body. And then just on the other side, just trying to over to the side. That's it. Good. And just towards the back, just link the fingers together. Come up to the shoulders. And stretch through the lower back. Open the chest out as well. And just release it. And then you're really gonna just try a little bit more to bring the hands up. Just a little bit more here, a little bit more up. Also use the breath, kind of expanding through the ribcage. And go. Good. That's it. And then if you can, just find the hands into the back, just here, just there. And then if you can, my hoodie's in the way. Link the hands together. And if you can, press the palms together. This is really easy in this case. The easiest way is to just do like this. The main thing I want to avoid in this case is something like this, right? Find that. Oh God damn it! Where's the hands? So in this case, just keep the body centered, and it's as much as I can release the shoulders. I use this as a kind of archery exercise as well, because it's really about opening the shoulder blades. So that as you get to that position, and then feel the kind of weight through the body. That's it. And then if you can also start to draw the hands out of the body. Looks totally strange, but really nice exercise. Yeah, good. If you can keep the palms pressing together. And nice and slowly just release it from whatever position you go. Yeah. And then just release the arms. Okay. Just start to kind of roll the arms out. Start to kind of center the body out towards the ground. I'm really trying to pass a movement through the whole joint, so the shoulders into the biceps, triceps, the elbows, forearms, everything. That's it. Nice, nice, nice. And then just reverse it, so you can out, open, and back. Out, open, draw back. So really kind of a swimming motion. Well, that's it. Have a weight to the body constantly draining down. So good. Just grasping the fingers, rolling through the wrists. Try both ways. You're just kind of squeezing the palms together. Nice and soft. So, good. And taking the palms this way, just again squeezing. You basically create a kind of vacuum with the palms, just feel to squeeze together. And on the other side. So. And last one, just pressing the fingers out nice and fast. Good. Oh, it's super fast. Good. Good. And closing fists. And nice and fast. And then just start to kind of bring the hands down towards the side. A little bit like a cowboy. You do one. You kind of grab the sides of the hips. And just focus on the ring fingers, the little finger, ring finger. And just feel as you do it to the side, the weight also settling into the feet. So just the last few, nice and slow, just kind of closing the hands. The main thing is that I close the hands without creating tension in the body. So try and find that you just drain the body down and just kind of check in with the body. If I'm doing it with tension, the body will basically do this. If I'm doing it through a sense of drain down, I'll have a sense of elasticity in the body. So just do a few, just kind of whatever, however you need to do it, close the body down, but really feel that it's actually quite loose with having a strong fist, a strong hand. So really connected, but very loose. This is the kind of quality we're looking for. So, good. And then just take the hands out. And the feet. And on both sides. Just the forwards with the hands. And just rolling the arms. And then the whole body. Just start to make the movement smaller, smaller, smaller. And you come to us. So. Good. Okay, take a job. We're going to continue with the job. See. That's so good. Good. So we'll just go over what we did yesterday as well. So just thrusting forward and then just come straight over into Zengo ski. So front back pattern. Take it nice and slow to start. Really big, clear movement to the good, keep going. So, okay, good. There's a sort of real tendency in this case, I know also because we're all kind of in small rooms, is to kind of close everything down. And especially now just watch where you are watching with the hands, with the eyes. So as soon as I go into this kind of thing, even if I'm not watching, there's a sense that I'm kind of closing everything down. Everything becomes kind of small. So think outside of your own room, basically. So think about what's outside of the room. What's actually outside? Oh, there's a van outside this way, but try and imagine there's more to the space that you're in. So you're in this, which you don't need to imagine because there actually is. So it's actually quite easy. Just imagine, well, oh, the neighbor's next door there, and something more is over there. But just try and do whatever you can just to try and expand a little bit. So open the movement out, basically. Just be careful of what happens to the eyes because what we look at really has an effect on what happens in the body. A sense of expansion out through the movement. Nice. Nice. Yeah, we tend to also, again, it's about existing in our own space. We tend to exist like we live on the earth rather than kind of be living kind of through it. So in a sense, what happens is like this. So everything's actually happening above ground, which that kind of seems logical. You only see people kind of above ground, but the feeling of the body, the weight of the body is being constantly drained down. So I always go back to an image of a tree. We tend to think trees like, oh, they just start on the earth, but this huge kind of root system that sinks into the ground. So even though we're not trees, you've got a quality that the weight drains constantly down. So just be aware now of basically your root in the ground. So keep the expansion out, but really now think about the root down, which is constantly there, even though we're in motion. We can leave the ground, have the sense that you're constantly being drawn down. So gravity is constantly really pulling you down. So just try and find this kind of feeling where you're really grounded. The body's being grounded constantly. Okay. Good. Nice. And in essence, whenever we make rotation works, we're working with spirals. So obviously, I can rotate in a way where the body just kind of, the body just does like that. It just does boom and just turns like the queen. It just does that. It just does that kind of thing. So that's obviously one way I can do the body, but it basically means I have to fix the whole structure to do it. But if I allow the structure to kind of work in a way where it's grounding through the feet and then working through the hips, you automatically go into a kind of a wave through the spine. So automatically the movement has a kind of quality of a spiral. So just play a little bit with this kind of quality. And obviously if I do this and then this, I basically block the movement. So think first about circular movements through the body. And then automatically, because you're moving in a direction, it'll start to go into a spiral. So if I basically put a circle into motion or into a direction, it will basically go towards a spiral. So just think of now in terms of spiraling through the movement. Need a little bit opening the movement out and just exploring. Again, it's about the pull of gravity, the ground, and basically how my structure is connected. So just look for something that's kind of soft, flexible, but also with this heavy quality. That's it. That's it, nice. Nice. So. Good. And then working with this front back, so you're going to now thrust forward, thrust to the back, and then roll into the kamae. Forward, and again, keeping the root all the time, especially in this backwards move. Really feel the body's draining down. And then really use this backwards move to come fully back into kamae. Thrust forward, to the back, and then back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, and just think a little bit about the kind of in a way if we go back to the body, we're training the body rather than training weapon work or training the jaw work. Then the kind of purpose of this movement, again, training the body, is really to get a sense of this kind of structure. So it's kind of strange because we do all these kind of Ushiro skis and different combinations, but we don't use them in the partner practice. We don't really use them in the sense of working with a partner. So the kind of purpose of them in a way, again, if you go back to training the body, is really like these kind of kokyunari movements where you come into these kind of positions. So any movement where I'm asked to keep my attention forward, but I'm actually sending the body in a way backwards, come into these kind of positions. So again, and it's working in a way where I'm grounding through a big root of the body in the body, through the foot, and then pressing the body back. The tendency with the jaw, and this is the kind of challenge of the jaw, is to start in the arms and then go forward with it. Where basically the body gets dragged out with the jaw. So, and it's the same with the kokyunagis. People tend to start in the arms and then the body gets dragged. Rather feel that you start with the body, elastic through the hand, and then the arm comes down. And it's the same with the jaw. Think of a kind of elastic quality with the body. And then the jaw gets kind of sent back through the movement of the whole body. Yeah, so just work on this kind of quality. And if you need to go to this kind of feeling of just using the hand into a kind of kokyunagi movement, just play a little bit with it.
Uncle, I'm going to move outside.
Okay, cool.
Tell me the more.
I would if I could. Good. That's it, Adrian. Yeah, good. That's the thing. Good. Yeah. Very nice. Good. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Much better. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Very nice. Good. Yeah, and some of you are already playing with this, which is good, so just continue. In this case, just feel a little bit more, the movement's flexible. Goes through and then back. Ultimately, I'm looking down through the movement, so I become contained already. So feel that you keep the sense of expansion out. So really keep a sense of the vision. Really coming through. Don't slip on your floor. Here. Now, especially the last move is very interesting. So if you like, you can also break this down into this move, this and this, coming back. So you've got this quality of pressing to the back and then rolling it out back into a spiral. So it's really got a nice quality. If I can access this feeling of the center, really initiating it, I will feel the jaw kind of leave the body and then be drawn back. A bit like a yo-yo. It goes and then back, and then back. And it's basically controlled by the center. Just work on this kind of quality. The jaw's being sent out and gets drawn back, like a kind of boomerang or a yo-yo. Like that. Just play a little bit with it. Nice. Very nice movement. Very basic, very simple, but really a nice quality to it. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yes. Yeah, and just watch now that the arms don't get dragged away. So in a sense, the sense that the jaw gets kind of pulled forward. Basically, think about if I was to release the jaw, it would just go whoop, away. But what doesn't happen if they were not really attached, my arms would kind of would fly away. But they're actually attached to the body, so feel that the structure of the arm is actually constantly within the body, especially the shoulder and the elbows. But just watch for now that the tendency is to do this, is to push the arms away from it. And then to draw them back to the body is tricky. This is where I get these kind of disconnections in the movement. So just really feel the connection with the arms here to the body. And then if I got that connection very clear, doing this fast is actually, or doing this fluidly is really not a problem. But the moment I'm pushing out and pulling out, that's when I go to create disconnect in the body. Just. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. And we'll just explore a little bit Gedan Gaeshi again. So just going against this pattern like the force of root, pressing forward, rolling the body back, and then really winding out the spine to a low strike. And in this case, just work both sides. So just come back into command, pressing forward, drawing back, striking for the knee, and then coming back into the position this way. Now just give this a try. So both sides. Tsuki Gedan Gaeshi. Nice, nice. So, nice. Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes, actually, when I was taught this movement, or taught this kind of sequences of the Saburi, I was taught to do this. I'm going to show you. Sometimes people kind of have a habit to do it. I was taught that this movement is a kind of strike to the back and then a thrust through. Okay, so I was taught this way, and it's just totally wrong. So, in terms of the Saburi work, in terms of this Saburi, this movement is doing a preparatory, just a preparatory movement. So it's just to draw the body back, just to draw the jaw back into the body. And in a sense, what a lot of people do is try and kind of create power into that movement. But that movement's not a strike, so it doesn't have the quality of a strike. So just in a sense, all I'm doing in that movement is drawing the body, they're drawing the jaw into the body. But it has no sense of a kind of impact percussive strike. So just have the sense it's got this kind of quality. So what I'm doing is like drawing the jaw into the body this way. So it's got this kind of quality rather than something like that. So it's like it's drawing the jaw into the structure this way. And then I basically release it this way into that. So just keep in mind that it's a really a movement to draw the jaw into the body rather than a strike, which is sometimes how people learn the movement, and it's just in this case very wrong. Just not the movement. Yeah, that's it. And just try that. I think one of the hardest moments, apart from the strike itself, is this drawback. So, in a sense, what a lot of I do it too. So I need to kind of catch it. When we do this move, it's not to kind of pull back. It's not to kind of push the jaw back from the front. Rather, think in this case that the jaw's really being moved from the backhand. So just do a few, just to really get this very clear. Basically, that this hand and the back hip draw the jaw back with the hand, and this hand just follows. But it doesn't do that and then push back from the other end. So it's not in this case about finding the end and pushing back. It's about actually straight away, directly manipulating the jaw from the rear. So in a sense, just try these two things. I can do that, or I can do that. And in a sense, they look the same if I do them fast. So people tend to get away with it by doing it fast. But it's still the same move. I'm still doing that. But what I want is something more of that kind of quality. So this hand's actually not really doing anything, just following. Just try a few, but it's quite a difficult thing to do. Everything in your kind of mind probably says, pull the jaw from the front, because that's what the hands want to do. So in a way, you've got to go. The hands need to be a bit quiet. That's it. Good.
Michael, would you describe this movement as actually pushing from your elbow backwards?
Yeah, you can also.
So
You can think almost like so I sometimes use that with the Ushiro scoop. So if you think about the Ushiro scoop, so you're kind of doing that. I sometimes use this as a way because the elbow's coming back into this kind of position. And I use that less in this position because it's if I go to the elbow, the tendency is to go into something like a kind of striking move again. So it's actually right. You're talking. It's like the elbow kind of like injects the movement. So it's like the jaw gets kind of dragged by the elbow, but less in a way. It's kind of very clear in the Ushiro movement where I'm doing kind of this kind of move. And in this case, it's kind of got a softer quality. Yeah. But you're totally right. You're actually using the elbow. You're using that kind of motion with it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's it. Very nice. Sure. Great. So we'll just go to a little bit more flexible. So in this case, just break it down a little bit. You've got the thrust here, and then what I want to do is blend this movement together. So, and then just come back. So really split this down into, actually split into 3 pieces. 1, 2. Oh, sorry, I did it wrong. 1, 2. Oh, let's start again. Oh, I cut it. 1, 2, 3. It might take a while to get used to this again. 1, 2, there, 3. Finding the movement that way. Yeah, just give this a try. It's quite tricky actually. So you've got basically a flexible middle in this strike. Maybe it's the way I'm showing this one. I feel a bit stiff. So in essence, what I see a little bit is like boom, boom. But see if you can, in this case, see if you can get something that's really much more flexible. It's like that was more flexible. That one, like this. So try and get a sense that you draw and create the movement. So in this case, it's not a case of doing boom, bump, it's a case of doing that. Hopefully they look different. I feel a little bit stiff, but nevertheless, just get the sense that you flexibly move through the jaw this way. So you've got to kind of draw back, but at the same time, the body's really coming into the movement. It's really a spiral movement. That, like that. That. This is not the easiest of movements, it's like so nice. Quite challenging. Ah, interesting. Yeah, to get this is kind of the, I think I was talking about the other day, you need basically an anchor for the movement. So I can be flexible without having really a base, so which means I'm going to have to kind of spin out, which again is like if I go back to these discus players, this is fine. You're kind of leaving the ground. In terms of functionality and in terms of impact strike, what I need in this case is, as I draw back, the sense of a front anchor through the body, and then that's basically the driver for the movement. So I've got this kind of quality. What will prevent that is if I do this, if I spin out to the back and then spin out forward this way, the body will basically, again, it'll start to disintegrate as it goes through the movement. So just have the sense that as you draw back, I'm really drawing back into an anchor in the front hip. So as it comes through, like this. I do it really, really slow. Draw back through. And just do this really slow, and I can feel the movement's just anchored into the ground. So and then if I've got the weight in the ground, I can then fully express the spiral through the hands. Just the last few. Okay, good. That's nice. Nice. That's it. Much better. Nice. Okay, last few. Just do this now fully flexible, so you thrust through, back, and roll through this way. You're going to whip kind of back through the ski, through the Gedan Gaeshi. You've got this, all the way through. And again, led by the hips, so this and this. So I really want to have the sense that the hip, the back hip's going to draw the jump back. This kind of quality. So again, really just focus on working with spirals. The last few. Look at that kind of quality. Really focus in the legs and the lower body. Yeah, give it a try. Okay. And I just say one word with this: smoothness. It's just about kind of a quality of being smooth. So this, or trying to get in a sense of kind of smooth quality through the movement. This kind of quality, which is coming from the hip work. So it's got this kind of quality. So the jaw feels like it's just kind of roll through the body this way. So just look for this kind of smooth quality, which means a little bit lessening the impact of the strike. So don't think so much about power and impacting. Think about just connecting through the hips. That's it. Ah, good. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, good. Just watch this. So some of you are doing this, you're coming here, and then what's happening is this hand's pushing forward and then drawing back along the jaw. This is okay, but in this case, I don't want to push really with the hand to do the movement. So it's much more a sense of this hand soften. So this hand's basically softening down the jaw this way. And it can look like this hand's kind of pushing the jaw, but I don't want in this case to increase the momentum in the movement because it'll basically split me away from the jaw. So if I do something with the hand, it'll basically pull the body forward, and then I'm trying to draw the jaw back at the same time. So basically the jaw's moving away from the body and I'm trying to draw it back. So think about just that hand softening. So you find the strike and it softens. But that hand's just going to kind of melt over the jaw this way. Just kind of run. And it softens over it. Just the left. That's it. Very good. Yeah. There we go. That's it. Arm there. Good. Nice. Great. Good. Last 30 seconds. Just play with the ski. This kind of Zengogiri. This kind of rear ski. And also play with this kind of Gedan Gaeshi. You can do it as a strike or you can roll through it. Just play a little bit with movement. Roll that. Different combinations. Just trying to get the ski movements and Gedan Gaeshi. Oh yeah. Don't slip on the tiles. Oh, nice. In the last 10, 20 seconds or so, just focus on the quality of skin smoothness. Just a little bit more smooth. Probably a lot slower. Just focusing on this kind of quality of smooth transitions. Yeah. That's it. Super duper. Okay, we'll stop there. Hi. どうも、ありがとうございました。どうも、ありがとうございました。Very good.
Thank you.